Hi there. In this segment, we will show how to determine the measurements of a specimen in terms of diameter and height, and how to condition the specimen prior to performing any tests. So first, we will need a caliper. The caliper could be digital or manual. We will be determining the diameter at two perpendicular locations, and then we're going to average these values, these two values, and have an average diameter value. For the height, we'll be determining the height at four locations, and then we're going to average these four values and have an average height value. The determined diameter and height will be fed into the software prior to conducting any performance tests, and will be used to perform any calculation resultant from these performance tests. For conditioning, there are two ways of conditioning specimen. The first one is by using a conditioning chamber, and then we're going to put the specimen into conditioning chamber for cracking tests at 25 degrees C for 2 hours plus or minus 10 minutes. Once the specimen is conditioned, the specimen will be taken out and immediately tested using the machine. The other way of conditioning specimen is by using water bath. So we'll be using a leak-proof plastic bag. We're going to put the specimen into these bags. And then the specimen will be put into a water bath previously conditioned at 25 degrees C or 77 degrees Fahrenheit for a duration of 2 hours plus or minus 10 minutes. Once the specimen is conditioned, the specimen and the bag will be taken out while making sure that the specimen remains dry. The specimen will be taken out of the leak-proof plastic bag and taken immediately to the machine to perform the test. In this segment, we will show how to condition the specimen at a high temperature to be able to perform the indirect tension test at high temperature, or high IDT or high temperature IDT, and the ideal RT tests. These two tests are used to screen asphalt mixtures for running at a high temperature of 54.4 degrees C, or equivalent to 129.9 degrees Fahrenheit. So first, let's start by measuring the diameter of the specimen into two perpendicular locations, and then we're going to average these two values. Then we will be measuring the height of the specimen from four different locations using a caliper. That caliper could be manual or digital, and then we will be averaging these four values and get an average height. The average diameter and height determined of each specimen will be fed into the software prior to performing the test, or will be used if any calculation is needed to be made. For conditioning, we could condition a specimen into two ways. First, through a conditioning chamber. So the specimen will be placed at a temperature of 54.4 degrees C or 129.9 degrees Fahrenheit for a duration of 2 hours plus or minus 10 minutes. After that, the specimen will be taken out from the chamber and will be immediately tested using either the high temperature IDT or the ideal RT. The other way of conditioning is using a water bath. The water bath has to be previously conditioned or set at a temperature of 129.9 degrees Fahrenheit or 54.4 degrees C. We will be using a leak-proof plastic bag. Specimen will be placed into these bags. These bags have to be closed, and the specimen have to be placed into the water for a duration of 2 hours plus or minus 10 minutes. After that, specimen will be taken out with the bags. We want to make sure that the specimen remains dry the entire conditioning time. Specimen will be taken immediately to the machine, and the performance test is conducted.